Yo, 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 yo. Happy weekend. Happy Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific time. This is a 10-hour show with a side of whiskey. Salud, salud, salud. Guys, you know, I want to say thank you for those that have been subscribing to our channel. You guys are showing the love. Once we get to 100, we can actually customize our channel. And then once we get to 1,000, and we can actually, turn things around and help more veterans out there by showing them, videos that we're doing so they can actually know who to go to. Because, throughout, like for instance, in Los Angeles, so many nonprofits out there, but still not many veterans know who to go to because there's, so many information is scattered. So that's our goal for us to kind of make this a one-stop shop for vets.
And we got a lot of stuff coming up too. Sorry to interrupt, but I know subscribe, share the videos, because we're going to be incorporating a lot of other new videos, animation, and things like that. And your subscription will definitely help us with the editing portion of it. And just subscribe and you'll see.
And we got some cool stuff going on next month too. So some paranormal things. So
yeah, we can talk about it a little bit after the
after
the show too.
Yeah, definitely. But right now, talk about paranormal things, right? I want to talk something really awesome. And Jose is going to showcase what he has right now.
It is a little bit of paranormal. No, I'm just kidding. My beautiful, amazing wife bought me this. It's the jugs that we used to carry in the military, but somebody actually tailored it, and it locks it up anyways. Because we are doing 10 hut with the side of whiskey. Here's a whiskey case.
The light
turns on, and I have my whiskey right here. Anyways, I just wanted to showcase it because it's amazing.
He's been wanting to like, look at this. Yeah. So also we have our friend Daniel, and he's chairman of 10 Hut. And this guy has an amazing voice when it comes to the radio broadcasting. So Daniel, say some words if you want to.
Good evening, everyone. Hope you're having a wonderful Thursday, and hope you have a wonderful weekend. I'm feel proud to be able to be on this podcast alongside two people who I respect very much, in Pedro and Jose. And I look forward to this interview with Mr. Perez. And as I always say to all the veterans that have served, thank you for your service. What you do, allows civilians the freedoms that we hold very dearly. So thank you for your service.
Yeah, so Daniel's a very, very humble person. So he's been with us since the beginning of 10 Hut. Extremely supportive of the veteran community, and he's worked in many facets within the county to help veterans with supportive services and running a lot of these programs that LA County organizations have for veterans. So we thank you as well, because I know that a lot of veterans have benefited from an encounter with you throughout the years. So thanks, brother. And the reason why you're on the podcast is because you know a lot of these resources throughout LA County, and especially we want to have you today because Sarge is one of those resource centers that veterans go to obtain these resources all over San Fernando Valley, LA County. So
right, absolutely. Yeah, so I'm gonna take it over from here. So I actually met Robert through Facebook, and from there we started connecting, and we briefly talked, and I said, this guy is doing amazing things, because it's really what you're doing, man. It's really, you're cutting the red tape, you're cutting the red tape, and that's something you want to do, squaring away veterans. Right. So, and I'm glad you're on a podcast. I'm going to pass it over to you, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your social security number, your credit card number, everything, No, I'm just kidding. It's all your brother.
Thank you, gentlemen. Name's Robert Sarge Perez. 88 Mike, United States Army, 12 years, 2 deployments in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom, 04, 05, 07, 08, I am now a 100% disabled combat veteran and proud of it. And
Cool.
I currently I'm about to transition out of the HR field and pursue Sarge's Resource Center 100% full time. And the reason why is because it's needed. And you're right, Jose, because of the red tape and the politics is why we have Sarge's Resource Center now. We wanted to change the culture on how veterans receive their resources and services. We started in the middle of a pandemic. We know how 2020 changed everything. Unfortunately, it also rediverted resources and services for our veterans, where a lot of organizations shut down or post closed, or there was a lot of things just hit and miss. So we were able to come in and even though COVID was going on, we filled in the gap when others said, "You're crazy. You shouldn't do this. What's wrong with you? You're not going to last 6 months. We're going through the middle of a global pandemic." And I said, "I don't care. We're gonna roll the dice." So we filed our paperwork back in May. It was all a waiting game. You know, by the time they process everything with the IRS, it takes time. October 5th, we actually opened up our Chase bank account. I'm not going to give the bank account information, but we opened that Chase bank account. Before we even set foot in that bank, I talked to my board of directors and my staff, and I said, going forward, before we walk into this bank, I just wanted to tell you guys one thing. I don't want any bullshit in this organization. What we're going to do going forward is we're going to square away veterans. Plain and simple, cut and dry. No bullshit, no politics on the tape.
Sarge, I'm gonna interrupt you because you have a Chase account, so that means people, our audience, can Zelle you with just your cell phone number. So if you want to share that cell phone number and people can Zelle you, Zelle them.
Yeah, Zelle.
Absolutely.
And we walked to the bank. We all opened up our account, and it was like finally able to. We were legit. We had our paperwork. We had our 501c3. We had our articles of incorporation. We had doing business as Sarge's Resource Center. We just got the recognition of charitable organization, and today we are now recognized by Facebook as a charitable organization. We waited a long time for that, and today, and it's awesome.
Wait, did we
Yeah,
lose
we're cutting out a little bit with Sarge, but I know that when 10 Hut was going through that back in 2017, it did take a little bit of time, and it is like stepping stones and accomplishment that your organization feels like. I know that when Daniel was board of director of our board, or chairman of the board, definitely put those little or major stepping stones and things like that. We put it out to the board.
Sarge,
hey Sarge, welcome back.
Welcome back.
There you go. Okay.
All right, cool. Adapt overcome.
Yeah, adapt and overcome. Sarge, you were saying about the like now that you're on Facebook and you're recognized as a charitable organization, and then take it over.
We were able to get our GoFundMe going. We were able to get our events planned because before we didn't have any of that. So we went old school, donating old school, send me a check and going to the bank and standing in line and depositing it. And we made it work no matter what. So Veterans Day, we went down to the West LA VA Hospital Veterans Row and was it I can't think of the name, but we gave out 200 supplies to homeless veterans. 170 male and 30 female veterans received supplies from us. It was a joint task force operation with Merging Vets and Players and Semper Utilis, and we knocked it out of the park. When the VA was giving us a hard time, and I think it was through New Directions for Veterans was our way around that. And by having the event through them, we were able to pass all these equipment out and supplies to them. And then we fast-tracked to December 23rd. It was our first annual Veterans December to Remember. We hosted an event at the U.S. Vets in Long Beach for transitionally housed veterans, for 200 of them. So we basically provided them with a holiday meal made by a Marine Corps chef, Chef Haiti Collado. She prepared everything by herself. We gave out Christmas stockings and COVID-19 supplies. And
Nice.
U.S. vets at the time wasn't going to have a holiday anything for them because of COVID-19. So we filled in the gap. We told them, we're going to provide the chow. We'll bring the goodies and the treats. They said, go for it. We did it. Nobody got COVID. We were safe 100%.
Oh, wow.
Went into 2021, New Year. What do we do different? Let's salute, pay tribute to our female veterans. So we had our first Salute to Female Veterans event January 23rd in Southgate with Volunteers of America. Veterans stand together. Veterans Couture, who you already know, Carolina Hernandez. And that's what set it apart. And we didn't have a lot. We had like maybe 17 people there, but that word of mouth, it blew everybody away. And people were talking, and they said, you need to have another one. Well, we have another one on May 8th. Now we have 50 confirmed RSVP. We have all these vendors. You guys are included. We have 15 vendors, all ranging from the Mission Continues, Women Vets on Point, UCLA veterans for women. We got Tan Hut, of course. We got some elected officials from San Fernando. We got boot camp going out there. We got a lot of people. And then we're going to have our table. The VFW is going to have their table. We got some veteran service officers. So these vendors are not just, it's something that the veterans can take away and get something from them. It's not just, well, you're here, you're there. You go to a lot of these functions and it's the vendors, they're not as appealing, or I'm all right. I'll skip this table. Every table's there. Everybody gets to stop and get something out of it. The quality in this was the actual resources and services, not the food, not the items we're giving out, but the actual resources and services. And that's where we're at right now. I wanted to do something different.
And that information is on your website, and people can log in. And so, what is your website? So our audience,
sargesrc.org.
Sarges. Okay.
I'll put it on right now.
.org. And it's just, wanted to try something different. Again, we're giving out emergency food and COVID-19 supplies, and and what really started this whole thing was before I even started Sarge's Resource Center, I got a phone call from an organization. I'm not going to say their name. They're calling me up and saying if I knew anybody that can help with a pair of boots for a veteran. And I said, well, what's the veteran need? He goes, he needs a steel-toe work boots. He's about to get a job as a truck driver, and DOT regulations state that he needs to have steel-toe boots. I said, well, don't you guys have money? Our funding's frozen. I said, well, let me ask around. And I asked, and I called up a couple other organizations if they were willing to sponsor this Marine Corps veteran out of Paramount. I didn't even know his name. I think his last name was Buenostro or something like that. Never knew him, never met him. All I knew is he lived in somewhere in Torrance, and he was a Marine Corps veteran, and he needed steel-toe boots. So I called these organizations up. I asked, you guys want to sponsor a veteran size 9.5 steel-toe boots? Well, I don't know. We have to vote on it. I don't know. You just can't spend the money. How do I even know he's a veteran? You know what? After that, hung up, got on Amazon, ordered the boots, called the guy back. I go, what's his address? I sent the boots to him. The guy got them on Saturday. He started his job on Monday. Tuesday, the guy reaches out to me. He says, hey, sir, I just want to say thank you because I didn't know how the hell I was going to get those boots. But when they showed up on Saturday, I was so relieved because I got to keep my job. And I thought to myself, I could do this. Yeah. So I just had to figure out a way to keep the funding coming, and let's make it happen. So that's where I got the mission from.
This is one thing that a lot of people in the audience should know is that when you go to these larger organizations and they tell you that they have funding, they do, especially if you're looking for rental assistance and things like that. And there's red tape that you have to cross. And a lot of the times it is worth crossing that red tape so that it can help you keep your place. But these smaller organizations, the startup organizations that are not grant dictated, can do more for you than a lot of these larger organizations that have to cross a lot of red tape. So this is a prime example of what Sarge's organization can do when there's no red tape to be crossed, because the funding comes from them. It comes from the people that believe in what they believe, so that they can continue moving on with the mission that they have to carry on. So I'm not dogging the larger organizations, VOA, US Vets. They do an incredible job on the larger scale picture.
But yeah,
But these smaller or these startup organizations are the boots on the ground that can get shit done right away when you need it. Like prime example, the veteran that needed a freaking pair of boots. How are you gonna put it to the board when it's $70 at most? What? I know that you have petty cash somewhere that you can utilize to purchase these boots and then get the enrollment later.
Yeah.
So anyways, I'm gonna go on a rant here, but my bad.
You know, one of the things that I want to say. Go ahead, Daniel.
I was just going to mention, it's like Sarge said, it's about filling the gap and the need to be able to provide those kind of services immediately. You know what I mean? What other organization out there would have been able to give this veteran the boots that he needed for his job and just on time prior to him starting his job? So, you know, much respect for you doing this work.
We just lost Sarge right now.
He'll jump back on, but it is very true, man. It's filling the gaps in all of these startup organizations that are like Sarge said and Daniel said, it's filling in those gaps so that when things like this happen, or even we had an instance a while ago, like 2 Decembers ago, where a veteran came in and said, "Hey, you know what? I'm about to get permanent housing. I just need a place to stay for a couple days." And a lot of the larger organizations couldn't do it. And we came in and said, "Hey, you know what? Let's just make some calls." The Pacific Palisades granted us the permission to utilize some of their funds. And boom, you're housing veterans. But it's those connections that that the starter organizations utilize to get shit done, and that's why Sarge's organization exists.
I want to add something for those that are like, you know, always looking to open your own nonprofit. Just keep in mind that when you always go for a grant, you gotta abide by their rules, by the grantor's rules. This is exactly, if you got this grant and is only used for housing, there's only for housing, you know. So that's why, you know, startup nonprofits or, you know, nonprofits that can fill in the gaps actually are the best, because hey, you can get money from a business, you can get money from donations from, you know, friends and family, just to get this mission accomplished, you know. So, you know,
but I do want to add that when you're in the startup world and you're in the startup nonprofit world especially, and you're relying a lot on people's donations, companies' donation, it's a much harder grind than it is when you're on a grant funded organization. So the boots on the ground that Sarge is talking about, and you know, the grind that is required for a startup organization is phenomenal, man. And it's required, and it's tough. So
yeah, we salute you for that, man. Definitely. All right, so go ahead, Sarge. I know we lost you there a couple times, but we got you back. So
you know, it's funny because one thing I learned during this whole ordeal is you got to have a solid grant writer, which I do. Katerina Mesasan is my lifesaver. She's the one that lets me know this is what we can get, this is what we can't get. So we're going after the restricted grant money and the unrestricted grant money, and then of course, you know, partnering up with the Sable Foundation and all these other organizations that are just been a blessing to us. You know, where they're able to assist, and we can fill in the gap for them as well. So we can help with their homeless veterans outreach. And we have the manpower and the muscle to accomplish that and get that detail accomplished. So that's how we're able to meet that need and get that accomplished. I totally rely on my family, my friends, my veteran brothers and sisters, and other organizations out there that have kept us afloat since we started this back in October. And because of that, this is a result of what you see in all these events, is because of the community outreach of donations and believing in the mission going forward. And I've had, I'm very blessed to be lucky to get that support up to this point in the middle of a pandemic. Now that things are starting to trickle down and people are getting their stimulus checks, people are starting to be a little generous. So that's even awesome to think they were doing this during a pandemic. I just can't wait to see what happens after, when everything goes back to normal and we keep pushing these missions forward, and we keep doing this service to all of our veterans in the community, regardless of their discharge status. That's another thing. I had a lady say, all those homeless veterans, they can get free programs. No, they can't, because if they had bad paper or bad discharge, they don't qualify. So how do they get food? That's where we come in. That's where we fill in the gap. And people are like, oh, wow, that's how is that? Well, it's because the community is supporting me, because they know there's a need, regardless of their discharge status.
Right.
So there's only certain things that we can do, we can help them with, but still, we can still give them emergency food. We can still give them COVID-19 supplies. I can give them a pair of boots, a blanket, a sleeping bag. Who's to say they can't? They did. I tell the story of the one veteran that went to war, punched the lieutenant in the face because he was going to lead his convoy down the wrong MSR, and the whole convoy was going to get attacked and ambushed. So he decided to change to an alternate course, save the rest of his convoy's team. He gets a dishonorable discharge. The rest of his guys get to come home, enjoy their freedom, go to school, get their VA compensation, get married, have a family. He didn't get shit. He didn't get nothing.
You know what, Sarge? It's a common misconception. I used to think the same way, Sarge, where when I came out, I was like, oh, you got a dishonorable, or you got an other than honorable discharge. You must have been a shitbag, a piece of shit.
Oh.
It's very, very common to get that same thought, the train of thought. Yep. But working also in the nonprofit sector and seeing all of these veterans and hearing their stories, like, no, man, I got a discharge because I have bad leadership, or this and that and the other, and they've done multiple tours overseas, and then one day of mishap and they get this dishonorable discharge, and it's freaking bullshit, man. So it's my heart goes out to them, and I do. We have to help them too. So you're right, and I appreciate that. That's
the future of Sarge's Resource Center is to one day recreate that MWO USO atmosphere for our resource center, that when veterans come in for whatever services or resources they need, it's going to remind them of that deployment when they went into an NWR, or they stopped in at the airport to that USO to see what they can get. Imagine having that in a resource center for veterans, recreating that same environment where you can have your internet cafe, you can play some video games, you can chill and play some pool, read a book, watch freaking all the Rambos in one day and not have to worry about it. And you got all your complimentary snacks and all the damn Black Rifle coffee you could drink. Yeah, that's my evil plan to come together, and that's the future of what we're gonna put in. La Habra is gonna be the headquarters. It is the headquarters. Nice. So right now we work out of our storage unit. We work out of my Jeep Gladiator. I work out of Denny's when we have our breakfast meetings there. And Denny's has been in La Habra. They've been hooking us up with that they have a little conference area in the back. We've been utilizing that for our meetings. And that's awesome. So when we do these outreaches and all that, we go to the veteran. We put on these events. They come to us, and without a building. That's how we're still able to make this happen. We don't even have a building, but the plan is to get one. We're in talks right now to get a lease going and finally open those doors and do that grand reopening. So, even though that didn't discourage me, the mission still had to continue. It had to go forward regardless. We're that building to go out there and give these resources and services to all of our veterans, regardless. It didn't matter. It's going to happen. So a lot of people doubted me, but we're still here.
Hey, you know what? I want to hold on, Jose. I want to say that a lot of people will doubt, and that's just inevitable. Like, people are always gonna hate, right? Or people's gonna say, "What? You don't have any training, or you don't have any capacity to this. You just gotta focus on the mission. That's all." I
was going to mention that because earlier, before the podcast started, you were mentioning how there's organizations out there. As soon as the pandemic started, and they were saying they were cutting down on grant funding, they were halting grant funding because they didn't know what was going to happen. And you mentioned that if you didn't have a really defined mission and purpose, you died out. And those organizations like yourself that started during the pandemic, you have a really clear vision and mission. driven and you're focused, like these are the organizations that thrive within, you know, a goddamn pandemic, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
I'm
Go-
sorry.
Go ahead,
I was
Daniel.
just gonna say, I think you know, with the pandemic occurring, it actually gave your organization more purpose to do the work that it's doing. And you know, another thing that I'm thinking about is eventually the eviction protections in LA County are going to be lifted, and your organization will be, you know, one of those organizations that will be really critical during that time to respond to, you know, when those eviction protections are lifted. You know, where I work, you know, we're already starting to see the effect of even with the current protections in place. You know, there's a lot of people that just they can't afford to pay their rent. You know, they're so far behind on their rent, and so I just wanted to make mention of that. You know, and I love how well intentioned your organization is. You know, like you said, you don't have an office space, but as the saying goes, you know, if you build it, they will come, right?
Yeah,
And
they're coming.
that's what's happening. And
That's
speaks to the work you're doing.
That's actually a good point, Sarge. So, in response to what is it that your organization is looking to do in response to a lot of these individuals that are going to be at risk of being put on the street because of these lift on the rent restriction or rent help and things like that?
I'm trying to partner up with a lot of organizations that help with housing. There's a lot of them that we're already partnered up with that can help. That we can get veterans into transitional housing and kind of fast track the VASH stuff and get them immediate. Get them into something ASAP, even if it's getting you know, mobile homes or something. I mean, that my brain's always wired to figure out how do we what kind of grants are there for that? What kind of unrestricted grants are for that? How much money do I need to raise to get this squared away? So
Right.
I'm visiting as many other organizations to do a giant collaborative, because you're right that time is coming and it's right around the corner. And you know, there's, first of all, they're not gonna have money for food. They're not gonna have money for gas. We could sustain them for so long with gas cards and emergency food, but eventually they're gonna need a place, and that's where we need to start shaking things up at the state capitol. And Sarge loves going to Sacramento, and if I have to I have a buddy that works up there, and you know, if I have to start going up there and raising hell, I'm gonna do it by myself. I don't mind. I mean, I've been doing it this whole time by myself and my team, and it's just a few of us. But if I can help change that and get the right ear to listen, I can shift something. It could happen. I'm not gonna doubt it.
Hey, Sarge, if you need a broadcast team, we'll broadcast it all. We'll streaming up at the Capitol. We'll broadcast it for you.
I mean, and it's funny because a lot of people they know, like Pete Conity up in Sacramento, they know who I am already. I mean, shit, to even think I was talked about at the LA Collaborative, I was like, oh wow, you know, we must be doing something right. We must be impacting the right veterans community. So we just want to keep doing that. Right now, we're just trying to get through this event in May, and then we got a bigger one in July. It's our Operation Salute to Freedom. That one, 20 vendors, barbecue, veterans, kind of like what they do at the Long Beach VA, a little bit different twist on it, with vendors that are actually gonna, you know, that are veterans can relate to. And of course, you know, we're starting to get those restrictions lifted, so everybody's can't wait to get the hell out in public and intermingle with family and friends again. So that's an advantage.
What day does it land on in the one in July?
Well, I tentatively set it for July 3rd, but because that's 4th of July weekend and everybody's off that following Monday, a lot of people start jetting out of town on a Friday. So more likely it'll probably be that Thursday, like the first.
First
Well,
week,
if you do have it on the first, that Thursday, especially because our podcast comes on the Thursdays, if you allow us, we would like to broadcast live during your events in July.
Yeah, definitely, because that one's going to be from 10 to 3, and that's just so that it gives enough people enough time to show up, and especially all of our brothers and sisters out there that are looking for those resources that have the time. And I know a lot of companies will be like, hey, we're working, let's go do this event, let's be that vendor. There's no charge for the vendor booths. All I ask is that the vendors come out and bring their swag and do their due diligence and help us square away these veterans that we need, and then we'll take care of the chow. We'll take care of everything else and the entertainment. But I want to make sure that everybody is getting what they need and what they deserve without having to scramble all over the place. You can all get it at these events, and
right?
That's how I wanted to shift this.
Absolutely. Well, you have our support, definitely.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I want to kind of shift a little bit over, right? So as far as what you're doing so far, are you also helping veterans in other counties, or is just Los Angeles? Are you able just for now Los Angeles, or are you able to do Orange County, Riverside, and San Bernardino County?
Well, the 5-year plan is Orange County and Alley County 100% service, and then the 10-year plan is to hit Riverside, San Bernardino, San Diego, and then Kern County.
Okay.
Wow, Kern County.
Wow, that's wild.
See, I used to live in Bakersfield, so I'm familiar with the area. I actually got my first start with the Bakersfield outpatient clinic there in Bakersfield. I actually read a sign on a get bus that said, "It takes the strength and the courage of a warrior to seek help." And I was at my lowest point in my life, and I remember looking at this bus sign and I seen it, and I was like, shit. And I called and I got redirected to the Bakersfield outpatient clinic. There I got my very first rating of said back then in 2009. And that was the start of it, the start of the 10-year fighting journey. But I remember Bakersfield very well, and I want to go back. I want to do my part and square away all of our veterans that are there as well. Because I remember, they reached out to me through their marketing stuff, and I want to be a blessing in return and come back and say, hey, I remember reading that sign on a get bus in Bakersfield. I'm here to help you get squared away.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, definitely. Hell
That's a kind of story, Sarge. So I don't know if you, before the podcast, we definitely talked to you about being part of Bunker Labs and being the second cohort of Bunker Labs. Anyways, and through that experience, we learned that telling our story, as shitty as it might be, a lot of veterans tend to resonate with those low point of our lives stories, and for the audience that has followed 10 Hut since we started in 2017, like they know a lot of our story and being at our lowest point. But that story, Sarge, of being in that bench and looking up at that sign and realizing that your purpose is further than just sitting on that bench is what veterans tend to resonate with. So if at some point you want to tell your story, we'll be more than happy to broadcast it for you and share it for you, because that's what veterans want to hear.
That's just a piece of it. That whole
I know. Yeah.
That whole little tiny piece there was, coming back from my deployment in 2008, and I went through a bad divorce, and you get that Dear John letter in Vietnam, and in Iraq it's the Dear John email, but through the sat phone. I got to call home, and we were in a complex attack on April 8th, 2008, and the next day after the shit cleared, and I just wanted to call home and make sure everybody was okay, and it's like, no, I'm divorcing you. And that, I was like, whoa, what the hell happened? And it changed me forever after that. I rather than complain about it, I did something about it. I went back to school. I got my networking degrees from Kaplan College in Bakersfield in 2012. And then I went back to school and got my bachelor's in human resource management through DeVry, class of 2016. Started the Veterans Club, which was the birth seed of what we have here today. The Veterans Club at DeVry, we had a 2-year run. We had events. I had people sponsor us. I got free chow. I got things donated, and I said, "Shoot, this is awesome."
Yeah,
that's fucking amazing, man.
Yeah,
So
that's how it's always been.
We should do like a Jose. We should do like a meal with the vet type thing, and get ask Sarge again.
That's what I was telling the audience earlier. Is that we're looking to do more videos, more stories, more heartfelt. Here, resonate with us, with our audience, resonate with our guests, because every veteran has a story, and it's impactful. It carries on for motivation for other veterans that are looking for that just the right words to get them over that hurdle, to continue on with whatever it is that they want to do. And it just takes a couple of words, man. I know that it did for me. I've seen it work for you, Pedro.
Yeah.
So you have to be that voice for veterans in general. Have to be that voice for other veterans to carry them on to the next step.
I've learned that your experience is someone else's blueprint, right? So you don't know who you're gonna touch, who's gonna say, "Hey, you know what? Thank you so much for telling your story, because of you telling the story, I was able to move forward," right? So that's the reason. That's one of the things that we love to do, and talk to all the veterans, and tell them, share their story and what helped them move to the next level.
Sarge, I'm going to share. So my experience wasn't, my epiphany wasn't as impactful as yours. I was looking at a YouTube video about finding your why, and it was from Simon Sinek, and it was like finding your purpose. And I realized that veterans coming out of the military into the civilian life, we lose our drive because we no longer have a mission, a purpose. We believe that we no longer have a mission, a purpose in what we're doing. So we have to figure out how to change our mindset so that we can find that mission and driven attitude to accomplish what we need to accomplish. But it takes time for a lot of us.
Yeah.
So
yeah, definitely.
The best story I have, it would be the double. I call it the double whammy. You all are familiar with Miss Carolina Hernandez. I was doing a collaborative with them for a mask up thing in Southgate, and I just happened to overhear a conversation on an organization saying that they're going to send this veteran from Orange County to Compton, and he's pissed because they've been giving him the runaround, and they didn't really have anything to give him. He needed emergency food and gas cards, but their funding was frozen. So I just overheard. I go, "Hey, what's the deal, man?" He goes, "Oh, some things happen." And I go, "What does the veteran need?" He goes, "Well, he needs emergency food and gas cards." And I go, well, I can help right now. We have it. And she's like, "Well, what do you mean?" He goes, "Hold on." So I turn like this. I go, "Hey, Sarge, what do you think? You think we could score away this veteran? He's a Navy veteran." I said, "You know what? Roger that. Hook him up." And then I go, "All right, it's done." And they looked at me like, "What the hell?" I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "It's good. Let's go to the Food for Less and let's get him a $150 grocery card and 2 Arco gas cards for $25. Hooked him up. And the veteran showed up and he was blown away. He's like, "What the?" I'm like, too easy. At the same time, not even 10 minutes later, I get a phone call. They're going to give us a card donated to a veteran. All I need is to find a veteran that needed it in the next 15 minutes.
Yeah.
The lady sitting next to me says, I go, "Hey, do you know a veteran that needs a car right now?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Give me the name and contact number." We hooked her up with the 97 Toyota Camry like that within 15 minutes.
All right. So 3 things. Food for Less, if you're watching this, or anybody who works for Food for Less, Arco, and Toyota. I hope you guys are listening to this.
Especially, no, who's the one? The helpful Honda dealers.
Helpful
those guys.
Honda.
Yeah.
Caliber Collision, all of them.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch
Yeah,
of them.
actually, I listen to the radio every day on my way to work, and I haven't seen, I haven't heard one veteran episode where they do a helpful Honda for a veteran.
Yeah.
I challenge helpful Hondas to do it for the month of November, which is Veteran Month. Do that shit every fucking week.
Hey, so this video, if you guys watching this, please share this video and hashtag Honda.
Yeah, hashtag helpful Honda.
Helpful Honda. Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. So we only got a few minutes left. So, Sarge, some question that I have for you that I always ask my guest.
Yes, sir.
What is your favorite MRE?
Oh, chicken tetrazzini, baby. My favorite.
No way, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because everybody keeps saying mac and cheese and everything, but all right.
No, tetrazzini. You need a lot of Tabasco sauce.
Hot or cold, it didn't matter. I didn't give a
Oh,
shit.
really?
You're one of those oddballs, Sarge.
I used to steal it out of the other trucks, and I used to snag them. And they're like, and then because a lot of my guys, that was their favorite, and I'm like, hey, who got it? Somebody got into the chicken tetrazzini. I go, I took them all. Hell, it's just something about it.
I am gonna bully you for this. What number is that? You remember?
I don't remember. All I know, I just steal them, and it was chicken tetrazzini. I didn't even hesitate. I already knew.
Yeah.
Hey, Pedro, one of these days on our podcast, you got to tell the audience when you almost lost a finger for number 13.
No, I don't want to talk about that. And a lot of people watching this. All right,
I
cool.
wanna
Thank you.
hear
Maybe one of these days. Yeah. So thank you, Robert. Thank you so much. I appreciate, your time. I know you're a very busy man right now because you got a lot going on. But this is great stuff. And what I do want to say is that for the audiences watching this, please reach out to Robert. I did put his website, and I'm gonna put it again if I can find it. But I can tell you this: there's an event coming up pretty soon, May 8th. You guys need to come over. If you know any veterans, please share this to them because it's really important.
They're giving out surprise gifts.
Yeah.
So go buy a ticket.
Yeah. So surprise.
Support. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. If you need anything from us, man, let us know. We definitely would love to collaborate with you because, we love to see other nonprofits that are disrupting the nonprofit world.
Disrupt.
Well,
Yeah.
definitely see you guys at the event. I got a table for you guys to set up your stuff. So you're gonna have you're gonna love it. It's gonna be
Sarge, we might do a live broadcast on May 8th as well. So
yeah,
Roger that. You got the green light. Sarge says you're good to go.
Get the knife hand, brother. Get the knife hand.
Good to go.
All right, guys. Hey, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Just remember, subscribe to our channel at tenhut.org and share this video because this video is awesome. I can tell you this podcast is awesome. So we'll help veterans out there. Until next time.
And how with the side of whiskey, drink responsibly.
And drink responsibly.
Thanks, gentlemen. Thank you so much.